praise your name, most high and awesome God, and lift my hands unto you. You save my soul, on a rugged tree. Now I praise you, and serve you, Lord, throughout eternity.
I have this bad habit of warning people who are about to become parents about how terrible it's going to be. I guess that's well, I don't guess. I know that's based on my own experience. 17, 18 years ago when I first became a parent, I remember before my wife gave birth to our daughter, everyone was telling us, oh, congratulations, it's wonderful, parenthood is fantastic, what a joy, having that little baby is just wonderful, there's nothing like it, you'll never know how much you could love until you have that little baby, and it's so wonderful, everything is wonderful about having a baby, everything is wonderful. And then my wife and I had a baby, and it was horrible. The reason was, of course, because we couldn't sleep. There was no sleep. The baby cried all the time for months. The baby would wake in the night and we could not sleep. My wife was working, I was in school, and we had things to do, but that baby demanded attention all the time. Of course, eventually it got better. I love my kids, okay? I love my kids. But I have this bad habit of I sort of wish people had said, it's going to be great, but, it is going to be really, really hard there at the beginning. You're not going to get any sleep. It's going to be terrible in a lot of ways. So I have sort of taken on that assignment for myself to warn people about the trials that they're about to face. I need to congratulate them more often. I really need to do that. But sort of parenthood for me at the beginning was this assignment that I thought was going to be just wonderful and joyful and all of those things. And I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be, especially at the beginning. Have you ever received an assignment like that? Maybe it was parenthood. Maybe it was having a baby. But maybe you've got an idea of a different kind of assignment. Somebody gave you an assignment and you thought it was going to be, oh, this is nice. I'm going to enjoy that. And then you got into it and it turned out, oh, wow, this is a lot different from what I thought it was going to be and a lot worse. I really wish I did not have this assignment. I think that's sort of, well, it's the way Isaiah chapter 6 strikes me. Isaiah chapter 6 is it's the passage where Isaiah gets his assignment from God. Now, before he gets the assignment, he has this vision, or as a part of this vision is when he gets his assignment, and he has a vision of God as if in the temple. Maybe Isaiah was in the temple at the time, but he saw God sitting on a throne, high and lifted up. This is Isaiah 6 verse 1. The hem of his robe filled the temple, and the seraphim were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. This is the only passage in Scripture in which we read about the seraphim. We elsewhere read about these beings around God called the cherubim, and maybe the seraphim are sort of like the cherubim. But anyway, here they are called seraphim. They've got these 6 wings. It's sort of also like the vision of God in Revelation chapter 4, except there we get living creatures that are not called seraphim or cherubim for that matter. But what they say in Revelation 4 is similar to what the seraphim say here. This is what the seraphim fly around saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. Isaiah is privileged to be in the presence of God and to, as the text says, see the Lord on his throne, high and lifted up, and to understand the holiness of God. Here in Isaiah 6, we see this vision of holiness. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. There is this distinctive title for God in the book of Isaiah, the Holy One of Israel. It appears 31 times in the Old Testament, and 25 of those instances are in the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah presents our God distinctively, not uniquely, of course, but distinctively as the Holy One of Israel. And here we get a vision of the holiness of our God. And Isaiah recognizes how much he does not belong in the presence of this holy God, so that he says, "Woe is me." This is verse 5. "For I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." Sort of like perhaps Exodus chapter 3 when Moses is at the burning bush and he's got to take off his sandals because he's standing on holy ground. Why? Because the presence of God is there. Isaiah says, "Woe is me. I have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." Who exactly was it that Isaiah saw? You might want to reflect on John chapter 12, verses 38 through 42, where it looks like to me and to a lot of other people that maybe John, the gospel writer, is suggesting to us that Isaiah had a vision of, how shall I say it, the pre-incarnate Christ. But anyway, that is not exactly apparent from Isaiah chapter 6 itself, but it is clear that Isaiah is seeing a vision of God, and it is the holiness of God. Isaiah recognizes his own sinfulness. He uses this phrase that he is a man of unclean lips. He lives among a people of unclean lips. And God cleanses him. One of those seraphim goes and takes a coal and touches it to Isaiah's lips as this purifying element, prepares Isaiah for service. And you might think to yourself, well, how could touching a coal to somebody's lips, that's not actually going to purify anything. That's not actually going to take away Isaiah's sin. It will if God says it will. God is able to purify people if he wants to purify them. I think about Psalm 51, where David says, "Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow." The point is, hyssop can't do anything. Water cannot cleanse me, but it will if God says it will. We need to trust that God is able to purify us if we obey him. He says he will, and so we trust that he will. And Isaiah is now prepared for service. He is about to get his assignment. God says, "Who will go for us? Whom shall we send?" And here is Isaiah's assignment. And this is what I think maybe Isaiah thought, oh, goody, I'm about to get an assignment from God. This is going to be great. This is going to be wonderful. This is going to be joyful. And then you read the assignment. Go and say to this people, Keep listening, but do not comprehend. Keep looking, but do not understand. That's Isaiah's assignment. You go preach. Keep listening, but do not comprehend. Keep looking, but do not understand. And then God tells Isaiah, make the mind of this people dull, stop their ears, shut their eyes, so that they may not look with their eyes and listen with their ears and comprehend with their minds and turn and be healed. That's verse 10. Isaiah's assignment is not an assignment I myself would want. What are we to make of this idea that God tells Isaiah, his prophet, to go make sure people can't understand? What is he getting at? Why would he give him an assignment like that? And how would you like to get an assignment like that? And what do you make of it that Jesus quotes this very passage and says that the assignment that Isaiah received is Jesus' own assignment? Mark chapter 4, verse 12. In all the Gospels, actually. Mark 4, verse 12. Matthew 13, verses 14 and 15. Luke 8, verse 10. John 12, verse 40. In all the Gospels, Jesus says that assignment that Isaiah had, that is also my assignment. I am here to make sure people don't understand. And that is why he speaks in parables, according to Mark 4 and Matthew 13. What do you make of that? What is that supposed to mean? And not only Jesus, but Paul himself at the very end of the book of Acts, when he gets to Rome and he talks to some people there, he also quotes Isaiah 6 and says, Isaiah's assignment, the Apostle Paul says, that's my assignment. What do you make of these words? Does God not want people to understand the truth? And if it doesn't mean that, what does it mean? And as you read through Isaiah 6 and you see more of what the assignment is, do you pick out any element of hope? Isaiah is supposed to preach this message until this is verse 11, until cities lie waste without inhabitant and houses without people, and the land is utterly desolate. All that sounds pretty bad until destruction comes. But then at the very, very end, it says, the holy seed is its stump. What do you make of that? What is that supposed to mean? And is that an element of hope? And if Jesus took on the words of Isaiah here, the assignment of Isaiah, as his own assignment, and if Paul did that, to what extent should we, who want to imitate Paul and want to imitate Jesus even more than that, to what extent should we take on that assignment? And if we did, what would that mean for us?
I praise your name, I praise your name, most high and awesome God, most high and awesome God, and lift my hands unto you, unto you. You save my soul, you save my soul, on a rugged tree, on a rugged tree. Now I praise you, now I praise you, and serve you, Lord, throughout eternity.